there, folks! Are you fixing for a wild ride through the heart of the Old West? Well, saddle up and head on over to Amazon Villa, where you'll find a tale that'll grip you tighter than a rattlesnake's coil. Introducing Sheriff No More, Redemption's Trail, written by the talented E.W. Bradford. This here story takes you on a journey of grit, redemption, and the unbreakable bond between a father and his son. Follow John, a once fearless sheriff turned relentless seeker of justice. He's on the hunt for his kidnapped son, taken by the notorious Beverly Brothers. With every step, you'll face danger, betrayal, and reckonings that'll leave you breathless. So, don't mosey around, partner. Head on over to Amazon Villa and get thyself a taste of Sheriff No More, Redemption's Trail. Written by E.W. Bradford, it's a tale that'll leave you hollering for more.
Dun, dun, dun. I see the dreaded wheel going around. Oh, there we go.
Like, duh.
Hello, Miss Annie. How are you?
I'm just fine, sweetie. How you doing? Hi, Miss Renee.
Hi, beautiful. How are you?
I was wondering if she was going to answer. I was like, oh no, did we mess up?
No. I was the one who messed up. I unplugged the computer accidentally. There's so many wires in here.
Well, you love wires. We got to love wires. Wires are... Okay, I won't go there. Anyway, so ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a special episode of Paranormal with both Annie and myself tonight. We actually have the distinct honor of hosting a remarkable individual who has dedicated her life to bringing the realms between the living and the departed. And she's working on bringing them together. Joining us, of course, is Renee of Angelic Comfort, a gifted medium and visionary, founder of Transvibrational Communication. Did I say it right?
Transcendent Vibrational Communication.
Okay, TVC.
You did awesome.
I'll never get it. While this may be not directly related to what all the conversation tonight, it is a part of it. The exploration of spiritual dimensions and communication with the beyond is a topic that resonates deeply with many seeking a deeper understanding of the spiritual realm. So we are truly privileged to have Renee with us today and to share her profound insights and experiences. Yay, Renee!
One of my favorite people on the entire planet.
Oh, God,
Yes.
I love you. I really do. And you both hold such a special place in my heart. You really do. And I'm honored, as always, to be on the show. And
Okay.
That was a really awesome introduction. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
That was great. That was awesome.
Now, I know she's going to shoot me because the little ticker at the bottom is going to say the wrong thing. I put Transvibrational Communication. It's TVC. So that is the correct part. The other part, Renee will correct you guys later.
It's all good. It's all good.
You know, and there's something funny today. I actually got told that I obviously do not need my Santa beard anymore. You know, the fake one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because apparently I'm getting
Yeah, you
old.
give yourself a couple months and you're set.
Yeah.
I would think that it's pretty warm for it right now, isn't it?
Yeah, I actually
sure.
pulled it out in the middle of summer. So that's why it's so much shorter, because it got hot. We were doing those so many days of triple digits. Oof. You did not want this on a face during that time.
That's why I usually shave mine.
Yeah. See, and we can see Renee already shaved hers. Too.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. You know, it's you guys are dealing with the heat down there, and we've been cold up here. Like today, officially, I got my heat on, and so I'm sitting here all toasty right now, and I'm grateful for that. But you're getting so much heat right now, and
Not
it's really
me.
cold up
Well,
here in the
in
north.
Maryland, it's been nice. It's been very, very nice. Sadly,
Good.
it's
We've been
gotten so
dealing with
cold at night you
rain.
can't open the windows. So that was kind of sucks, but
Yeah, well, I'm sure. It's not a. This is never a fun thing to go through. The heat and stuff. Everybody wants to, say, "Oh, you'll be fine. You can go through it, and you'll be okay." But
nope.
truthfully, that's not really the case. A lot of people with the weather changes and stuff, we can literally say it's that hot. It really
Right.
is. And then just in my office alone, yeah, the thermostat still says it's 94 degrees in my office.
No, no,
Yeah, no.
no. We're already in flannel sheets and a blankie.
Yeah, right. I know.
Yep.
Now, I look like my cat when I go to sleep.
It didn't really get that hot here in the Northeast this summer. I was glad about that because my perfect temperature is between like 73, 72, 73 degrees to like maybe 81 or 82. To me that's fine. I can handle that. I like that. The cold I don't like, and the only reason I'm up here right now is, I have a state job. I've had a state job for years, and it's my state retirement,
Right,
right? So
right,
I want to, keep doing that and adding to it as best I can for as long as I can. And I really don't have much more to go. We won't get into it, but I, I'm glad that I can, do this and still tolerate it, but I don't like it. You know, the cold. I work in a kitchen, right? So it gets very hot, and
right.
um, and that's that in itself is when I get out of work, it could be you know like 65, 70 degrees outside, and I'm freezing. And today I think was like the first day because it was so cold outside that I actually didn't like get too hot. So when I came home, I was still cold, but not as cold as I would have been you know, if I'd been super hot. But those days are coming when we get all the ovens going again and everything else. So my body really does react to the cold temperature. So the
It's
heat
supposed
isn't
to
so
get
bad.
kind of crazy this winter with an El Nino and
Yeah,
lots
yeah,
of snow. I don't know. We haven't gotten that much in the last few years, so I kind of figure we're going to get zapped this year.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think one thing we're definitely going to see is a lot of people freaking out over quite a few things, especially in just today alone. Uh,
There's many things to freak out about today.
well, but today actually has a phobia. So the phobia we have is triskaidekaphobia. It's the
Not me.
irrational fear of the number 13 because today
Not
is
me. That's
actually
my
Friday.
favorite number.
Ah.
If we're in like Walmart or the grocery store, if there's a aisle 13 open, I'll go there. And we got 4 black cats, so
Oh,
Yeah, I love the 13th. One of my best friends was born on a Friday 13th, and so we always get like woohoo when it falls on her birthday on a Friday. Um, I've always had good luck on Friday the 13th. I don't let it bother me because there really isn't anything bad about it. it's folklore, fable, and that's, you know, again, fear. We talk about fear. Fear is, I feel, a real emotion. It is. And people say, well, it's not, but it is. It's a
Right.
real emotion, and we've seen that. We've seen the effects of what fear does to people in the last 3 or 4 years, right? And so when you have that fear in you, it just makes it unpleasant. And when you feel that fear and when you put it out there into the universe, and about Friday the 13th, and no, it's a bad luck day and it's this and that, you're gonna draw it into you.
Yeah. Well, what I find interesting about the fear of 13 is that it actually has roots in Norse mythology.
Uh-huh. Really
Now,
nice.
how cool is that to think that it
Right.
actually goes back that far?
Oh yeah, it does. It's amazing.
I mean, the more interesting part, if you have that fear, that irrational fear of the number 13, could you imagine being in the area tomorrow where you're going to see the ring of fire?
Right. Well,
Yeah,
see, no, we're not going to see the full ring of fire up here.
No,
Maybe
I
but
we're
we
going
heard
to
are
see
that.
going
like a
to,
70%, but
yeah,
it's, when you've got the 13th, you have the fear, we have the new moon, we have the solar eclipse happening, and that's some pretty intense energy, right?
right.
And seeing as our bodies are like 76% water, we know that the moon affects water, and it's definitely affecting the people right now, because you have the pre-shadow and the post-shadow. So if you think things have been crazy the last few days, wait till tomorrow, and then again after, you've seen nothing yet. So
Right.
uh I've had to tell a few people, you need to chill, you need to really ground and balance, and stop. You're letting this energy get to you, and you have control. You have the
Yeah,
power. It's all within you.
true. And I'm going to ask because I've never actually asked this question. How does an eclipse affect days, especially for mediums? Does
you
it
know
is there like a heightened awareness, or is there anything special about that?
I you know I can't say as I absolutely know the answer for other people. For me, um I think daily, the last, I'd say, couple of years, my abilities have been growing even more sensitive. Um, so to say it's going to affect me in either way, I really don't feel that it is, because it's been going through the roof lately,
Right, right. For those who are
Just-
wondering, over here we actually have a little bit of a stream going on to show you what some of the things you would get on Angelic Comfort YouTube page, which is what Miss Renee hosts. Um, so you're going to have some readings on there. You're going to have guests, live guests that she has on there. So there's some pretty cool things that you get through that. And Renee, what is the most unique thing that you've dealt with on while doing your shows?
oh my gosh, well, doing my shows, unique things. Uh, hmm. I've had spirits come through. We've actually heard them. We have had things happen to some of the guests or me. There was one time I'll never forget when I was doing the show, and one of the cats I don't have anymore, I had to literally give her away, and it broke my heart. But she literally intercepted something coming at me during the show,
Right.
and it was like, oh my god. And she was never the same again after that, I mean, you could literally see her fighting whatever it was.
Hmm.
She would literally, like, you could see her struggling, you could see her fighting it, and then she'd turn around and lunge at you, and it was so awful. But that's what that's what familiars do, right? The cats, they will intercept. And I just can remember turning my head and looking to the right and seeing this energy, that I knew wasn't great. And she literally jumped up at it and took it,
Right. Can you
so.
explain to us what we're looking at? What are these cards that we're looking at?
So this is something that I really did um, consistently there for quite a while. And, life has just been so busy that I haven't been able to do it.
Right.
Basically, I would do like daily readings, or every now and then I'll pop on and say, Spirit has a message, and here we go, you know. Um, and I draw the cards and I do a video for people to see
Hmm.
and to hear. And if resonates to you, that's great. If not, then that's okay too. I do hear from a lot of people that a lot of these draws that I do for these little, like, mini sessions for um everybody, that it just they do resonate and they do help, and it's what people are going through. So I mean, it's they're there. And if you're drawn to one, no matter what the date is, and you see one and say, I'm just going to click on this, and it might resonate to you still to this day. So, in a way, they're kind of timeless too. One of the ones that I have done recently in the last couple of months was a yes and no one, EW, where
Hmm.
people could use that at any point in time. And, if you have a question that's really weighing on your mind, you just focus on it and then, pick a card, and then that's your answer, yes or no, to your question. And people were like really thrown back by that. So that's even something that they could do on their own. Uh, and it, just different things to help people out the best that I can, on a level of, that, how's the word? I'm trying to think of the word. Just on a level where people can understand or relate, and
Right.
put it into their own situations or their own lives. And a lot of the stuff, they're global. These are like global readings. They're for the collective. And it just, if you're drawn to them, there's a reason, right? There's a reason. So yeah, they're like, there's a ton of them, and I really need to start getting back into them, and I really will be. I just, give me
Right.
another 2 months or so, and you'll see them all popping out when life is a little bit more calm. So
Right.
I've got
Well,
got
let
a
me
lot of
let
irons
me
in the
ask
fire
you.
right now.
I notice there's a difference in the cards.
Yes.
So, is there? Does this mean it's a different kind of reading, or can you
Yeah.
explain
See,
the
the way
difference
that I
in the
do my
cards?
readings, I can sit here and I can tell you what I'm hearing from spirit, and the message and stuff. And the reason I do the cards is so that people have a tendency, they're visual learners, right? They're visual. So I do the cards, and what I do is I do confirmations, right? So I want confirmation, and a lot of times I'll use like two or three different decks. And so that's what I'm doing. Or to expand on the message, and get a different perspective, is what I do. Is I use, like, this one here would be the, I think, the second deck that I'm laying down right now.
Right. And definitely a different image in them.
Yes.
Some of them, like the artwork's way different.
Yes.
Um, so, is it specific? Like, do you specifically choose an artwork when you pick these cards, or how do you decide what cards are perfect for your readings?
This is gonna sound awful, but I'm a deck whore. So I just like on pendulums, which I make.
Okay.
I I I have probably over 30 decks, anywhere from your oracle decks and your tarot decks. There's a
Gotcha.
minimum of like 30 decks. So when I go to do these, or when I go to do a session with somebody, and they want both, the cards and mediumship part, what I do is whatever I feel drawn to is what I use. So
Okay.
like when I go to do a show, like I'm doing one um coming up in 2 weeks from tonight, what I'll do is bring like 10 different decks with me.
Gotcha.
And so, I'll have them out. Sometimes I have the client pick them, but when I do it, it's whatever I'm drawn to. And so, as you can see, they're totally different artwork. There's totally different meanings, as far as the cards go, or the decks, or they're done. The perception is different. Like, the visual is obviously different, but what's going to be laid out is going to be either coincide with the other or be an extension. So that's what I do. And people are pretty like, wow, And I don't, when I do my readings and I use the cards and stuff, I'm drawn to the cards. I don't like shuffle them and then take the top ones. I don't do that. I
Gotcha.
shuffle them and then I just go through and I just start pulling out cards. And it's whatever I feel energetically in my hands, or whatever pops out. Sometimes it slips up, or I can be going through and suddenly one comes out instead of three in my hand, as I'm going through. I'm going to take that one, I'm going to flip it over. So I do it totally. And when I teach my oldest daughter, because she's recently, in the last couple of years, been like, Mom, I really feel like I want to follow your path and do my own, but, is it true that somebody has to buy you your first deck? Mom, I'm ready. So for Christmas, that's what I did. I had gotten her own deck, and it was one. She had sent me a whole bunch of pictures of ones that she liked, and so I got her, and it had to be with cats, and it was a very unique deck off of Etsy, and that was it. So, and of course, I had to get myself the same deck, But
I,
when I teach her, I teach her the same way. You know, Hannah, don't shuffle them and then do what everybody else does. Do it this way and watch how accurate it is.
yeah.
And it's actually more. It pinpoints more. So that's the way I'm teaching her. That's the way that I do it. I find it to be um, just more in depth, more to the point, more of what is really going on. And people freak out because, they'll go to other mediums or other psychics and readers, and they're doing right off the top of the deck, and all that. But I want mine tells a story. My readings tell a story, and they come right to the point. And like I said, that's how I do it. I pull out the ones that want to come out. I don't take right off the top of the deck.
Right. Now I have a question. What is this one in the center here?
Okay, so that one I can't see exactly. What does it say?
I think it says traded, and then something under the line there. Let's see. Refium, Rephaim.
Okay, so what the one right in the center with the cage, the cat in the cage?
Yeah.
That one right there is basically you're feeling caged. You're feeling trapped, but like with all of it, it's a lot of it is within your own mind. You have the ability to break free from whatever it is that you're going through or experiencing. That you're stronger than what you feel that you are. That we're never really caged. We have that opportunity. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Okay. Now this is going to be interesting because it's the only card that seems to be getting picked on. If you watch carefully while this plays, there will be a bug that lands on here. There he is. And it's like he's taunting who's ever in the cage.
Yeah. Yep.
And he's a brave sucker because you put that card down, he's still right there. It's like,
Yeah.
nah, ain't going nowhere.
Yep. And I was outside. Doing this. So, yeah.
And he's still there when you put the other card down. It's like, man, I still ain't going anywhere. Now, what
Yeah.
would be hilarious is to see him crawl out from behind there, and then you're just like, really?
I didn't even notice that. I didn't even notice that. Yeah, either it taunting or trying to help the person get out. So, I would almost look at it as like there's somebody there,
Right.
who's there to help you, but you've got to let them help, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, these cards, like I said, both decks, they have some very unique artwork, which is pretty rare and at the same time pretty cool because, you get different looks at them. We're bringing up another one for people to see while we talk about it. But Renee, do you still do readings for people?
Oh yeah. Yep, I do them all the time. I do a lot of video ones. I don't I get a lot of requests, are you in person? No, I work a full-time job. I work a full-time job on top of doing my readings and stuff. So, I do video, I do live video with them. Some people, they prefer phone. The only time I'm in person is if you're doing, um, a psychic party, at your house, and I, request a minimum of 6 people. And, or if I'm doing an event, which I highly advertise for if I'm going to do something. So otherwise, I don't. But the new thing that I have on my website, which is www.angelic-comfort.com. If you go there, you'll look, and there's what they call premium chat. So I have set hours for when I'm available, and you can pay per the minute, and you put in your information, and it pings me, and I can go immediately right to that, and we could do phone, or we could do like text message, so it's kind of like a psychic hotline, but it's just me, and you know, and I've used it, and it works great, and people have
Mhm.
been really happy with it. So yeah, I go with this company, Premium Chat, and like I said, it's right on the front page of my website. You can't miss it. And like I said, you put in your information, and I do nothing with dealing with the per minute thing. It's all taken care of with the company and everything else. And and that's how it works. So yeah, it's like really cool. So that's something new that I've started offering in like the last 6 or 7 months.
And yeah,
So,
so
and
you
with my
guys could
daughter
go
being
there and
special needs, to go
yeah,
do something, to just go a regular session for one person, you know, I got to figure the cost of the gas, which is not cheap here in New York. And I also have to figure the daycare, and being she's special needs, daycare isn't always cheap, right? So,
right.
um, it adds in. So in order to keep my costs lower and not have to increase them, because right now, I mean, everybody's hurting. I just prefer to do it video and or phone or the premium chat.
Right. Right. I understand. Yeah, we've
Excuse me.
had quite a few different guests on over the years, and each one has a different way to be contacted. So it's always good for you guys that are listening to check it out. We will put in there the other website for you guys to go and visit here in a little bit. But yeah, I mean, you want to make sure you follow through with all that because it's good. No, really, I don't. um, don't read chat and talk at the same time. Um, so yeah, I do gotta say it is interesting though because I've known people who've done something similar to this, but they use a deck of regular playing cards,
Yep,
and
that's true.
that's unique too. Uh,
That's old. That's been around for many, many, many years.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's take a moment to hop out of that a second and talk about TVC. Well, more importantly, let's talk about Rolling Hills Investigation first.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I was there 2 weeks ago tonight. With our team, Upstate Ghosts, and uh, Dominic Valerio. He is the head of it and founder of Upstate Ghosts. It used to be Upstate Supernatural, but people were getting it confused with other teams, and he just recently switched it. And he's like, "Nope, we're doing Upstate Ghosts." So we went on National Paranormal Day, and they had the Wraith Chasers were there, and they're out of Tennessee. And so we met Mike and Chris, and they were a lot of fun and very informative. And we had the opportunity to, speak with them and investigate with them side by side. So it was really a good night.
Right. Yeah. And then I know I'm going to share this one as well because people are going to want to know when they can catch up with you again. So if you guys focus over here, Miss Renee will be with them. Now, why does it say, recorded August 20? Is that just the picture for when you were last with them?
so this here is our show, Loving Whispers, and it's gone through many transformations. And that's Dominic, and he's like my best friend. We are like two peas in a pod in a way, and we feed off of each other, which is really funny. So we do this show, Loving Whispers, and what it was is we used to go on live, and we used to, anybody who wanted to say something or hear from a loved one or whatever, and it got to be so much, not just for me, but when you've 30, 40 people in the chat room trying to pull in a loved one, can you imagine the number of spirits that are trying to come through?
Right.
you know so what we did over started on Memorial Weekend, and we thought, well, this is kind of fun. We did a parent session. He had just recently lost his mom and dad. I had lost my mom, and so we did like a 3 or 4 hour session that went on to like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And we did a pre-recording, as far as as if we were doing the show live, but we did recorded. And then he went back through and did evidence review, because sometimes you can't always hear what's going on the spirit box. And then there's times what we're hearing, like spirit wise, in us, our knowing, um and saying it's not always there. So what he did is he goes through and he reviews it and he puts it on there, and people can hear it. And then we break the episode, we break it down into different episodes. So say we do it for 3 or 4 hours, then we have like he breaks it down into half-hour segments. Okay. And we're finding that that's working out really well. So we are going to be expanding, and so we tried it again in August, and we did another parent session part two. But we pulled in a friend of ours who, both her parents are deceased, and we started out with her, and and did that. And so what we're going to do is we're going to like have a guest each time that we do it, and they're going to have an opportunity, just one person, to be able to communicate with their loved ones, and with our assistants, and to be able to hear them, and then break out into doing our own research later on in other episodes. So we're going to be doing it so that people, it'll be kind of both, like our own research and and a guest, just an average person who's missing a loved one and coming on and doing it that way. So we're again transforming it again, but you know it's good. It's a good thing. We're learning so much, and research wise, I mean, it's just amazing. and it's like they can't hear us, and we're like, we're trying, and some of them they get really feisty, and of course, being our parents too, when we talk to them and they come out with some doozies, you know, um, and the confirmation is there, but we're we're just we're just loving that part. We're loving the part where we just get together for a weekend, hang out and film and laugh and reminisce and everything else about our loved ones and whatnot. So for the August one was really interesting because of course I communicated with my mom, but also I had my cousin had been trying to come through a few times, so I did it for my mom, my cousin, um, and did communication for that. So we're going to be able to hear that in an upcoming episode. And then also one of my friends, who many people in the paranormal community may know, Daniel Becknowini. Uh, Dan was very close with me. He was we were very good friends, and he passed away this year. And he came through like there was no tomorrow in
Right.
in his recordings and stuff. So uh I'm just glad that we have this opportunity to do this research and to also bring a lot of healing to other people, and that's what the goal is to help other people and help them heal, help them hear their loved ones, teach them things that they can recognize with their loved ones when they're present, the energy. I mean, it's been amazing. It's really blooming. And we were told by, my mom and his parents, don't stop, keep going. Um, and so that's what we're doing.
Okay.
So, yes, Sunday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. There'll be a nice episode on of Loving Whispers, a parents episode, and I hope we see a lot of people in the chat room.
Right. So let's talk about Rolling Hills now.
Yes.
So this was an investigation. How were you a part of this investigation?
So I was with my team. There were like probably 10 other teams there, maybe, and everybody in the beginning was broken up into two groups. So you spent part of the time with Chris and part of the time with Mike, and then they had a really amazing. I mean, Sharon went above and beyond. I mean, she really did. It was good. She had a breakfast buffet catered at midnight, so we were able to, um, we were able to have the breakfast and everything, and then we were able to break it on our own for another 3 or 4 hours. So we did, and everybody was. I mean, I'd been up since like 4 o'clock in the morning because I had to work all day. Got out and then drove another 2.5 hours out to Batavia. Met everybody for dinner, and then we went right to Rolling Hills, and then didn't get out of there until like 3:30 in the morning.
Wow.
And then had to drive, and then had to drive back. We ended up driving back to Auburn, and we were probably like maybe half an hour away, if that, from where we were headed. And I had to, I had somebody ride with me from the team, and I, finally said, I pulled over. I said, I can't do it. My eyes are closing. Please take over driving. You and he did, and I was very grateful for that. But Rolling Hills, it was pretty active. A couple of spots. My favorite spot is always the morgue. Every time I've investigated there, I've been twice now to investigate, and so the morgue is my favorite spot. And then there's the hallway of shadows, the shadow hallway. That's really cool. The living room was pretty active, and that was in the basement. It was pretty active. We didn't get to some of the places, in the building, other places. I mean, we did, the second floor, the third floor, the basement. It was a lot. We were all dragging by that time, and they'd all been on vacation all week, and I worked, so I had to remote in on on a lot of their investigations throughout the week. Right? They did Hinsdale, and they did Oh my gosh, I can't think of the name of it now. Begins with a W.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then I met, like I said, I met them for Rolling Hills, and so I just did my own thing. I was my my typical psychic medium self, and did what I did for the team and with the team, and and as far as like okay, the spirit's over here. This is what they want, and so they pulled out the spirit box, and when let me go back. So when we were with Mike in the morgue initially, the doctor was present. And it's really cool when he's present. He gets in the suit, and the suit moves and follows people. And so people were getting on the table, and he kept on talking about a back, and I'm like, damn, I think he's talking about me because I had fallen the week before and hurt my back, and
Mm.
and it was hurting, and so he kept on saying back, back, and he and every these young people get up on the table and everything else, and so I went and I sat in the chair, and his suit turned right to me and looked at me, and nothing was really said or done at that point. I just sat down near the suit and let it be. So then when we were able to go and um investigate on our own, of course I had to go to the morgue. That's the first place I had to go. So we're there, and the suit's following around and everything else, and he's following me, and it was like, have a seat. So I did, and I let another team member sit down in the seat, and he said, "Get out of the chair." Came right over the spirit box. Get out of the chair. So then another team member went and sat down. He did the same thing. Get out of the chair.
Wow.
And then the suit followed, looked, turned to me, and I went and I sat in the chair. And I said, "Doctor, can you help me? My back hurts really bad. I fell last week, and it's just hurting. It's very stiff, and I'm still working and everything, but if you can help ease the pain or help it heal, I would be very grateful." And and I could feel the energy on my back. I could feel, like, literally, like, working on my back. And so then I got up out of the chair and then let somebody else sit down, and I leaned over, and all of a sudden my back is very unforgiving. It always has been, and my back, like right from the neck on down, snapped all the way down.
Mm.
And I was like, whoa, that's like a miracle, right? So then I went back to the chair, and because he kept on looking at me, kept the suit kept on like turning and following me and watching me. So I sat down in the chair and I thanked him, and you hear over the spirit box, did it help? And I said, yes, it did. And so then I would carry on the conversation with him, which was really cool. Um, about him being a compassionate man, and that that's why he became a doctor, and he probably had to do some pretty horrible things that were against his own personal beliefs on people. It was an asylum, you know, and he said, yes, it was painful, and meaning not painful, not just painful for the patient, but painful for him too. And but he was doing what he was doing in hopes of helping people, and then again, he's right there in the morgue too, so he was a man of many hats, right?
Hmm.
Right there. So and he thanked me, and I thanked him. He told me that I was welcome. I mean, it was just amazing, the communication with this spirit, with this doctor.
Right.
um and then we went down to the laundry room, was another one of our favorites. And so we went to the laundry room, and I pulled out, well, one of our teammates had dowsing rods, so I took a hold of the dowsing rods, and then we hid the spirit box at the other side of the room with another team member, and we all sat around and were asking questions, and it was amazing how the the dowsing rods were corresponding with what was coming over the spirit box. And it was really cool. So it was like, spot on the whole time with answering questions. And one of the things, I said to them, I said, people come in all the time, and spirits, whenever you do these sessions, anybody does these sessions. What's your name? How old are you? What's the date? When did you die? How many kids did you have? You know what? I mean, that's fine and dandy, but they were people. They were people. They want the conversation. They want to teach, and they will tell you things that you'd be surprised to hear, but they're tired of the questions. I mean, it's always the same thing, always the same thing. But you have to remember, they were human also. So they want the laughter, they want a joke, they want to talk about whatever, just regular conversation, not being put um, into a question form.
Okay.
So that's one of the things that we find, we get a lot of really good correspondence with, and communication, is when we just carry on a regular conversation. We get our confirmations, don't get me wrong. We get our confirmations with what's going on, and who they are, and verifications and everything else. But it's not the whole time we're there. You know what I mean? Is Or when we're communicating, it's just carrying on fun conversations. And the more complex that you can get from them, the better.
Right. Hey,
So, yeah.
Annie, I
Yes.
see something we've got to buy.
Which
We need
is
to buy, we need to buy a planner with Renee's face on
yeah, that
Why
would
would
be
you want to
good.
do that?
it. The Renee planter. Yeah. Oh, wait. Nope. The face is moving. What in the world?
Why would you want to do that? Yeah, no, I just, it's so much easier. People don't want to see, me talking, um, when I'm doing these things. You know what I'm saying? They want to see the cards. So,
Sure. Sure. We'll have to talk about how to actually do your camera a little bit better, but yeah, definitely.
yeah,
There,
well,
it's hard. I understand. There's different techniques, different ways we do it, and stuff, and I'm sure depending on the equipment you're using, might have some difficulties as well. Totally
yeah,
understandable. I've done it
you know
all.
what? That's probably a cell phone. I do it on my cell phone. You know
Yeah,
what I
that's what
mean?
I
I do
was
it right on
thinking.
my
Is
cell phone.
you probably have your cell phone propped up on something so it just stays and focuses.
I think
Yeah.
actually it was on like a cell phone like tripod thing. But
Oh, well, then you should have
you
been
know,
able to. Well, it's something. It's a work in progress. Let's put it like that. Yeah.
yeah, you know how old this one is. This is probably like 5 or 6 years old, right?
Let's see. This one is, yeah, 6 years old. Hey, very good guess. Very good guess. As you can see, these are all old 2017s and stuff. But I mean, if we go to your Facebook page, of course, there are a lot of videos. We could go to your more, well, I know that your more recent ones have been done on Facebook.
Yes, they come through on Facebook. I use what you use for streaming and stuff, and it goes live on this and Twitter and YouTube. Let me see, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook.
Yeah. So, look, she had somebody we had recently. A
Yes,
floppy
Ah,
Greg.
rabbit.
yep. Oh,
So, and then I notice you have Dr. Robert, how do I say his last name?
Shite.
Shite. Okay, I didn't want
Yep.
to say it wrong to offend him. You've had him
He
on a couple of
good.
times.
If you want to get him on, you want to get him on your show. He'd be a really good one. He's got some really like constant update on UFOs and AUPs and stuff. So you know,
Right.
yeah,
And of course, he has the custodian file. Wait, I have no idea what that one is.
That's his
That
name.
might be the door to the custodian's closet. Who knows?
Yeah, he does the custodian file is what he calls his YouTube channel. So he's really really good, and he's actually a retired pharmacist,
Oh,
and
really?
so knew nothing really about UFOs or anything until, I mean, he had a friend who was a psychic medium, who is now on the other side, but he he just started seeing these unidentified flying objects, and he's right there at Del Rey Marina, um, in
Right.
California, and he's just like, you just can't imagine what you catch on your phone or whatever. And he calls them dragonflies because he thought they were little dragonflies, and they're not. They're actual UFOs, and they
Wow.
can grow different sizes and everything. Yeah, and so what's really interesting is the Pentagon is actually utilizing a lot of his information.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
so through his own research through the last few years of seeing this, and seeing the Air Force and seeing NASA was just recently there flying over the marina, and it just, he's just like, I mean, he's just, yeah, he's phenomenal. And whenever we're on, it's really funny, his TV would be off and stuff, and suddenly it turns on, and
Huh.
whatever we're talking about is coming right over, being typed on the TV screen, and he's just like, they're listening to me. I'm like, yeah, well, they probably listen to me too, you know.
Now, I know
But
you've been extremely busy, but I have to ask one specific question. I was told by now I would have more evidence that I could use, but TVC,
yeah,
tell
yeah.
us when is all the evidence coming to light?
So so transcendent vibrational communication is where our spirits can do the same thing that a deceased person's spirit can do, and so it's constantly, we're just here in this physical body, and what it is like the living person's spirit coming through the apparatus instead of that of a deceased one. Um, so it's similar, and it brings up many questions in regard to what we're hearing and answers that are coming over the spirit box. Is it necessarily the spirit, or is it your spirit? So that's pretty interesting. So my voice has come over several times when I've remote viewed in, has come over apparatus, and it's definitely my voice. And what are you saying? What are you thinking? And I'd respond back. So we're doing this research project, and it's right down to taking body temperature, documenting the weather. What's the weather has a lot to do with it when when we're practicing it. Um, which we have to get back to practicing it, but the weather has a lot to do to it. What we found out is that it can take us ourselves, which would relate to with a regular spirit too, anywhere from instantaneously to for a response up to 6 minutes.
Wow.
So yeah, so we're finding out that definitely weather, and like I said, energy, your energy level, stuff like that plays a big role. So we've done all this, and I'm not talking on a phone to anybody. There's no way. Like when I've done it with Memphis or out with the team in Indiana, it's definitely no phone communication. There's no way that I want to, like, infect any of the data, right? So
Right.
and they have it recorded with my voice coming over, and my it's actually me and what I'm thinking and sending out. And so the theory is, and I have a private investigator who's a good friend of mine who's also on it, and he's biting at the bit. Come on, Renee. Come on, Renee. Come on, Renee. No, we have to get more data. We have to, so the theory is that this is going to save lives down the road,
Right.
because we can call in, just like we can call in the spirit of the deceased, we can call in spirits of the living. And
Right.
so, this is where we're headed. So it just takes time.
Do you think that that veil is being lifted between the two worlds, the spirit world and the
I'm going to
you know
tell you
physical?
something. All the time you hear, oh, the veil's thinning, the veil's thinning, the veil's thinning. Get over it. Like, you know, how thin is that veil going to get? I've been hearing that for over 20 years. How
Right.
thick was this veil? How thin is this veil? There's no veil. It's coexistent. It's, parallel, and there's there's no veil in my eyes. There's no veil in my eyes, because how many times, like I said, how many years is it going to thin? How thick was this veil? Was it like a
Right.
10-foot
Well,
thick wall? I mean, so we're seeing a lot more activity. We're seeing a lot more unexplained events, especially now with the division and the energy being kind of low vibrational right now in the world. You
yeah.
know, um, we're seeing a lot of activity. And I don't feel that there's a veil. And that's my through my research, my beliefs, my opinion. But I don't feel that there is a veil, because how, like I said, how many years is it going to thin? let's
Yeah.
let's get off the bandwagon and think about this.
True. True. Well, folks, if you haven't had a chance to, make sure you visit Renee's website. It is scrolling at the bottom as angelic-comfort.com. And you can actually see the premium chat part at the end over there, where you can get in on that and get private one-on-one session with Renee. Maybe you just want to ask a simple private question, and something that nobody else needs to know. It's just for you. And this is a great way to do it. So make sure you visit her
It,
website and get
it,
that private reading. You can also learn a lot more about her from the other services that she offers. Then you can see dates of where she might be, because she did go places over the summer, and you might be able to catch her somewhere near you pretty soon. Or also her show, Renee Live. And then there's a bunch of other stuff that she's involved with. And the only way you're going to really get all of that in one sitting is go to the website.
yeah,
So make sure you
definitely.
go to angelic-comfort.com.
Yep, definitely. I tried. There's blogs on there. There's all sorts of like good information. And like I said, when things settle down for me within the next couple of months, and it's really going to be rocking again. But between working and a few other things that I'm doing, and doing readings and stuff, it's just kind of busy. I have to prioritize, and then there's the self-care aspect too.
Yeah.
And I'm still mom too, so I might have
Yeah.
two older children, but I have one who's 16, and she's my paranormal attachment. And so I I'm still mom too, so yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, people, you guys got options here to go to check out Renee in multiple ways, from her website to her YouTube page, which is scrolling at the bottom now. And, anywhere you go, make sure you let her know that you saw her here on Paranormal. And, Renee,
Yeah,
we got to thank you for joining us tonight.
thank you so much for having me. I love you both, like I said, so much, and it's so good
It's
Yeah.
to see you
always a
guys.
pleasure.
Well, one day we'll be on your show.
Yes, you will be on my show one of these days. Yes.
Yeah, and I just love listening to you talk. I know I've been saying much
Oh,
today, but I just love listening to you talk.
Thank you, Annie. I don't
You're
have
welcome.
that southern accent, and I don't do the green cloud thing, right, EW?
I don't know. I've heard about those green clouds up there.
Yeah, they're down in Texas. Keep them there.
Hey, don't make me play that video again. Squirrel.
Yeah, don't.
Uh,
Yeah, I know.
I thought you
all
were going to
right,
say
folks.
it's in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. So y'all have a wonderful week. We'll see you next week. And don't forget that our following week we have our Halloween special. So you don't want to miss out on that. We'll have a
Nope.
residential
And you
zombie.
got to dress up, EW.
I do
I
want to
hope.
do one other shout out that I will be at in 2 weeks from tonight. I will be at Artesian Elements in Homer, New York, and I will be the psychic there. And it's a Halloween type thing, and that one is adults only on Friday night, and then the rest of the weekend is family friendly. But Friday night we're doing it's just adults night. There's I think it's $35 to get in. Readings from me are extra, it does not included, but they're gonna have like adult beverages there and all sorts of cool things happening there. So if you're in the area or you want to have a good time and just come and see. I mean, Amber's amazing. I love Amber and I love Artesian Elements there. She's really done a fabulous job, and just come on out and say hello. And like I said, it's an adult night, so having the adult beverages and just everybody letting loose, having a good time, meeting new people, getting readings. There's going to be a walk through the cemetery,
Ooh.
with Salt City Paranormal. And so they're going to be doing that. I mean, a lot of really cool stuff going on.
Cool.
Yeah,
Well, that definitely don't want to miss it. So you guys make sure you go and check that out. And on
definitely.
that note, good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
See you next week.